The great music soul child once said, I'm not trying to pressure you, but I just can't stop thinking about you, and you ain't even really gotta be my girlfriend. But I just want to know your name and maybe some time we can hook up, hang out, chill. But it's on you though, Queen. See, I don't know your name. So would you mind if I called you Forever? Because the moment our eyes connected, I felt time stand still. And before you brush me off as another nigga running game, I like make my intentions clear as day if you just let me explain. See, something tells me that you've been investing in men that don't deserve you for so long that it's made your love sick. So let me be the one to give you the remedy you want. I mean, need a respectful nigga with disrespectful dick. And I know that was kind of out of pocket. When I saw you, something in me ignited and now I'm hooked. I just had to say something bold to capture your attention. But if you're uninterested, I'll understand and respect it. I won't call you out your name just because I got rejected. I won't hide my intentions and say we could be just friends because that would be a lie. I won't settle for a hookup because you're emotionally unavailable or be cool being your BUDDY because I refuse to compromise you. You've done that far too many times on your own, and I know everybody ain't a fan of my poetic cadence. But believe me when I tell you that I want to give you an eternity, but I can't. So I guess I have to settle for a long relationship and even longer relations. We can chill. No Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, or Prime. Instead, I want to dissect every square inch of your brain and know I'm not K Kent, but I want to know what's on your mind. I want to ask you things like what's more valuable, love, money, power, respect, or time. I want to hear you vent about that girl at work that had you fucked up when she lost her rabbit ass mind. I want to wipe the tears before they ever leave your eye and protect you from anything that'll make you cry. I want to know the real you. The you that wakes up in the morning before you brush your teeth. The you that gets an attitude when you gone all day without something to eat. I want to understand you at your worst so I can appreciate you at your best and do things you never had done to you before, like give you loyalty and reassurance. Teach me the real you so I can factor it into the equation and fuck a 2 weeks notice. I want to be the reason you get the street show resignation. We can travel the world together or chill at the crib like we both on probation. As long as I'm with you, woman, I'll do whatever you say. Matter of fact, you can be my nigga long and I'll be your Lorenz Tate. Basically, I'm saying we can have a Love Jones and I'll be your brother tonight. Blindly pursuing you like you my prey. Can I catch my breath? See, woman, when our eyes connected, it was the first time my heart learned how to fly. And now I fear the concept of ever being bound to the ground I knew before you. We only glanced at each other briefly. But in these days, I saw our future. Saw the kingdoms our love would build. I saw you teach our children how to love themselves first so that they wouldn't have to question what real love is now. The past before you seems empty and docile, a place I refuse to live in, but I also know that you think I was crazy if I just walked up to you and said all these things. So instead, I introduced myself and asked for your number and your name. Dun, 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 dun. What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of Metaphors and Mike. I am your host, Poetic Zay, the smoothest poet in the land, forever known for speaking these words so poetic, lay on the platform that provides poetry, presence, and the power of performance. We have a phenomenal special guest. She is a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and a dope-ass person. Y'all give it up for the one and only Blaque Rain.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's Blaque Rain about it. I'm tapped in.
What's up, Queen? How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I ain't gonna lie. I'm really excited to have you on the podcast.
I'm excited too. Really excited. I told you this is my first one. Never done it. So
okay.
You popped my cherry. Let's do it.
Listen, because not only am I excited to have you just as the personality of the person you are, but you are also our first erotic poet that we have on the podcast. so you really get to set the standard and the precedent for everything.
I'm excited. Well, I hope all my other fellow erotic poets be vibing with me because they a little they criticize a little too hard.
I mean, listen, you here to set the standard, so let's get into it. What is an erotic poet? What does that mean to you?
Okay, that's I mean, you did say you was gonna swing with them questions. All right, so I feel like an erotic poet is somebody who is able to be intimate and express themselves and share their story through words. I don't think eroticism is something that's necessarily nasty, because a lot of people try to say sex and eroticism go together, but really eroticism is an intimate connection between two individuals or three individuals, whatever your connection is, and you share that. So I just feel like an erotic poet is somebody who is able to express themselves and their truths with people without being apologetic about it.
Okay, that sounded real good, but you still be nasty in the poem.
I do.
No. But I also respect and value the sensitivity that you allow yourself to be in your artwork.
Right, it's very vulnerable. I'm not saying that every poet is just saying the nasty words just because they want to. I think some people have a backstory that they don't share. So what they put in front of people is kind of what you see is what you get. Yeah. So it's real dope to be on that platform and be able to share myself unapologetically with people. How do
you feel like just being known as an erotic, like when you see Blaque Rain, you automatically like register.
I tap into a whole different energy. It'd be a whole
and truthfully, like when I first touched the poetry scene in the city, was at one of your events. Like you set the standard of like, you know, what I see as poetry, and like you were known as being that staple, you know, for just an experience and not just an event.
Well, honestly, that event that I was at, specifically at Euphoria, it was a young lady named Dee. And Dee had an erotic poetry night, and she was heavy on me about sharing my poetry and getting it out there. So when I finally got the nerve, I won my first poetry contest at Euphoria Hookah Lounge. I used to work there, and I loved it there. But if it wasn't for my teammates at the time, I would have never, ever came on the scene doing erotic poetry. I would have kept it to myself. So shout out to D.
That's what's up. Shout out to D.
Shout out to D.
Did you still experience, because I've dabbled in erotic poetry, and there is a sense of nervousness because you kind of have to break the standard, you know, and people have an expectation of what they're already about to receive, so
definitely.
You kind of have to kind of sacrifice yourself in a
you
sense,
definitely do. Okay,
so
you gotta let people be in your business a little bit.
How do you overcome that feeling?
To be honest, when you share a story, whether you do erotic poetry or just regular poetry, it doesn't matter what kind you do, you are using words to paint a picture. So with erotic poetry, you have to paint that picture, and you have to make sure that picture is crystal clear. So there's no blurred lines, so people won't think that, you know, you're a pedo, you know what I'm saying? Like, so factual. It doesn't cross any blurred lines or whatever. So really, honestly, it's about creating that image and then, you know, taking somebody there on a journey with you. Sometimes my poetry is real because I've really done it, and sometimes it's fictional. It's something that I want to do. It's a desire. So it just depends.
Okay. Tapping into that world of desires.
Yes, definitely. I love it.
How does, when you speak about, you know, creating a story, creating, you know, that world of desires, like what are some strong elements that you like to use in your own writing, in your own style?
Okay, so it's gonna sound really weird.
It's your space. We here for you.
Okay, so before I drop a book, anything, I really fast. I really fast and I pray about it. And I feel like I already shared this with you. God wouldn't have gave me a gift to be able to, you know, do this if I didn't have, you know, favor over me and doing it, covering over me and doing it, because I'm not doing it to be a hindrance or a hurt to anybody. I'm really expressing how I've looked at love, you know, because sex is a form of love to some people. So I fast, I pray, and sometimes I could be anywhere and hear random words, or I could be people watching because I love to do that. And it opens up a different like lens, like, and I love that about being in spaces with people and just seeing what I want to see. I don't have to see what's the reality. I can see whatever I want to see. And when I fast, you are starving your flesh of what you really desire. Right. So that's what makes it realistic, to be honest. So I can literally just be sitting here. You would have thought I had sex with 12 men the way my poetry goes, but really I ain't done anything other than imagine. So I use my imagination a lot.
Okay, come on.
I value that.
What about the people that say, because as artists, as poets, you know, we go in a room and we shift energies.
Right.
I was on a podcast one time where he was saying that every time you go in the room, you're literally speaking light.
Right.
You know?
Right.
What about those people that say like the light that you're speaking is in a form of lust? What do you say to that?
I mean, everybody got lust. Like, let's be real. Everybody got a nasty thought. It ain't like we all have intrusive thoughts. Like, come on now, we all human. I'm not even the most heaviest of the heavy Christian people still have repressed desires. Let's be real. Some of them be the real freaks though, honestly. But I ain't gonna put nobody business out there. But I'm just saying, just in general, everybody on this earth has a piece of some type of innate desire to want to be free and want to not be constricted or confined to what society says. And some people live in that moment or in that truth, and some people don't. And the people that don't are the people that want to live it the most, and that's why they don't like it.
I've realized, kind of, because I've attended a lot of your events, and I see you perform a good amount of times. You receive support crazy, through the community, outside the community. But women really resonate with you, like, and not even in a like, oh yeah, she up there talking that shit, but they really like, they feel you. What is that like, to kind of be able to, in a sense, it feels like you telling their stories, or you telling the things that they may not have the courage to say.
I like saying what people don't want to say. I think that's the beauty in just being straightforward. But I think also, I was molested as a kid. So for me, when I speak on that, I think that's what's picked up. It's not that I'm being nasty or I'm being weird or anything like that. I think that little girl in me or that teenager in me is what speaks up. It's like that part of me, and I can remember that part vividly. So when I'm connecting to my pieces, that's why I try not to do certain pieces, because that connection is too deep. And I feel like even though it's an erotic piece, be up there crying about it like, dang, But I think in certain spaces, a connection between women in general happens, and it's like intergalactic, because I look out and I can see a woman crying and I want to cry too, or I can see a woman that's smiling and like, yeah, girl, she know what she's talking about, and be like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I think I received the support, but it took me a long time to accept the support though.
Kind of what's the word for it when you don't want to step into your full identity of who you are?
Yeah, I didn't want to accept it at first. I was real weirded out by it. You have a lot of women that come up to you after the show and they're like, oh my God, you said something that I've been wanting to say to my husband for a long time, and I'm glad I brought him. And I'm like, that's cool. That's a dope feeling to have somebody that's married or somebody that's experiencing that from that perspective. And the cool part about it is, when I was working at Euphoria, I had a couple that was having a hard time conceiving, and they actually ended up conceiving the night of one of my poetry events.
That's dope.
So that's dope.
A dope story.
That was dope.
Okay.
Definitely. So I knew I was doing something right. I knew it. I was like, yes.
Imposter syndrome. That's what I was saying.
Yes, imposter syndrome. Yeah, I don't, sometimes I don't like stepping up to it because it makes me feel like people are quick to judge me, but I ain't no different than nobody else.
But they are,
and that's okay.
And you have to be okay with that.
That's okay. I'm gonna have a good time though.
Right. I think walking in your truth in artistry, whether you a erotic poet, whether you the pro-black poet, whether you the political poet,
right?
You have to be okay being judged.
Right. Everybody gonna judge you.
They gonna judge your truth.
Guess what? It's okay.
Not theirs.
It's okay. You want to be me low key. You want to have fun too. I don't blame you.
You want to have fun too.
You want to have fun too. Hey, and I really hope that women start being honest and transparent about their desires and accepting it, because that's the problem. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say what I want to say. But I feel like a lot of women shut themselves up in bedrooms and in intimate spaces because they're scared of rejection. And there's nothing wrong with that, but shoot, I'd rather a man tell me no than for me not to ask.
Come on now. How do you not more so how, but what are those experiences like when you're hearing about women not advocating for their own intimacy and their own desires and experiences, like, because they're part of the experience too, so their satisfaction matters as much as the other
males. Yeah. I think it hurts my feelings a little bit because I feel like I'm abrasive in that sense. Like, dang, maybe I need to shut up because they got a man. I'm just I'm living vicariously.
What I know.
And I'm definitely single. So I'll be like, dang. But I think
you know what you want though.
I think I'm saddened by that because they can go years without experiencing what they need to experience with their partners. And that's why they seek out other things, other people. And that goes for men too. That goes for men too. If you're not scratching that itch that you want, hey baby, somebody gonna scratch it. Somebody gonna do it.
You better say that.
Hey,
you better say that.
It might be an erotic poet.
Now people gonna be in my DMs talking about. I knew, Zay, I saw you at that.
I did. I seen you, and I just wanted to know, But I think women are starting to speak up more for themselves, and I think that's beautiful. But sometimes they're not speaking about the right stuff. It's okay to be like, vulnerable and soft girl and stuff like that, but I think they're forgetting that intimate part of them. It's women that to this day we can have a conversation and they are scared shitless to say that they want to have a threesome with two men or they want to experience a woman. It's so many women that's scared to say that, and that's traumatizing, and it's jacked up. Yeah, like say what you feel and say it with your chest. Because you know what I'm saying?
If you don't advocate for yourself, then who will?
Right? Who will? Because it won't be me. I write a poem about you though.
Nah, for real. And it's gonna be good too.
Hey, it's gonna be good. I'll write your story for you. I'll write a narrative for you and everything, but it's just gonna be on you to actually live it, Yeah. So I don't know. It's saddened though. I'll be like, dang, sis.
Dang,
Tell them what you want to do. A lot of men will agree though. A lot of men.
I think you were saying that earlier, how like when you ask someone what is their preferences or what do they like, as far as like what are your sexual, what kind of sexual things do you desire? They get out.
Hey, bro, I don't know. I mean, that's what they do. The first thing they do, they gotta grab the head because they don't know what's necessarily about to come next. But I think if you are a grown individual and you're in engaging in sexual activity, then you should be able to speak about what your desires are, and not
be grown.
Right. If you're gonna be grown and not shy away from it. But like I shared with you earlier, it's a taboo topic. It's something that people are scared to discuss because of what comes with it. And some people like it and some people don't, and that's okay. But it's people that's in those church spaces and in those spaces that want to say it too. They just not, willing to go against, and that's all right.
I also think there's a lack of sex education.
It is, definitely.
And people are afraid to speak on the things that they don't know. Because I know growing up, there wasn't nobody telling about, my conversation about sex was my dad saying, don't be having no babies.
Hey,
that was it.
That's it.
That was it.
Hey, baby, that's it. Not how to put a condom on, not the diseases that you can get, not even just in general what that intimate connection looks like. What does it feel like? A lot of men don't even know what pre-ejaculation is. They don't know what that is. Pre-cum. They're just under the false sense that, a woman has to ovulate to get pregnant and different things like that. It's just so many different false narratives that have been created, and it bothers me that you can do it, but you can't speak about it,
And I kind of referring back to your writing, even at one event at Walker's, I remember we sat there for hours and you just really talked about sex education.
Right. So, that's what I do though.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not just nasty. I actually know the education behind it. A lot of women don't even know what an A spot is versus a G spot. A lot of men don't even know what an A spot is.
Come on, tell us what an A spot is.
Okay, so I wish I brought my little diagram with me. You should have brought it. But the G spot, I already told you this, but it's a ridge that's inside of the vaginal canal. That's a little bit more upward, and it's like a come hither moment, and you go upward, but it's like a ridge. But the A spot is actually before the G spot, and it's that sensation that women feel only on certain sexual positions. So a lot of people don't know the knowledge of what position works versus what position doesn't, what position hurts versus what position doesn't hurt. And a lot of people accept pain, especially women, towards their uterus or those areas, their cervix, and they shouldn't though, because you're messing up your body, you're messing up that canal. So I think that when women learn how the vagina works, or men learn how their penis works, and they're able to have a healthy conversation, then sex will get good. But other than that,
where do we I say we as men, but where do men and women go to learn these things?
The the one thing you could do is use that good old Google search engine. Hey, that technology is big, but going to your local health departments and actually going in there and asking questions, they can really help you. If you don't have condoms, you can get them free at the health department.
Come
on. Going to get tested. If you want a rapid test, you can go to the health department. It don't have to be like, oh, I gotta set an appointment, I gotta do all that. No, you don't. It's so many different spaces here in Fayetteville that give out those things for free.
That's good.
Definitely.
That's good.
Definitely.
I know people, I ain't gonna put nobody in business out there, but I was having a conversation with somebody like a couple months ago, and they were just tripping about, like having a new partner and things and stuff. And I was like, you go get tested for free, right? They were tripping about not having health insurance.
Oh, and yeah, you can get tested for free. You can
get tested for free. They was like, oh, they didn't know that. And we grown. But
we are grown. At
the same time, you don't know if nobody tell you.
Right. And so some of our parents didn't know either. Exactly. Like, let's be real. Like, you can only share with you what you already know. Mm-hmm. And a lot of parents were not sharing with our parents about sex. They did the birds and the bees, but that's about it. Yeah. And then they had like the little classes, the little gym class where you go talk about it. But even now they took that out of schools. So a lot of kids are learning how to do that through TikTok, Instagram Reels, and porn. Yeah. That's how they connect.
And now they're adopting those false narratives as well.
And they think that sex is like that. And to be honest, it could be, but you might run across a partner that ain't like that. And then you have an expectation that's not yours. You don't own that. So
that's good. A sexual expectation that's not yours.
Yeah, it's not yours. That's a fantasy.
That can ultimately never be fulfilled.
Yeah, it would never be fulfilled because you're wanting what you seen, not the emotion. And them people are paid. Like, let's be real. But some of them connect to some of the people that they're having sex with. You see them kind of sort of reaching back into the same pocket with certain ones. That's because they have a deeper connection with them. And they know that person knows what to do. So, yeah.
Even you talking about that, I think we don't even talk about like the connection side of sex as well.
Definitely.
Like we hyper focus on the physical aspect.
The physical, that's it. No feeling, just doing it.
Yeah,
and we jacked up out here.
Yeah, and then you are caught in an everlasting loop.
Yep.
Chasing the desire.
Yep, a soul tie that you won't even supposed to be a part of.
Supposed to be a part of.
And I feel for the women who say they can move from man to man, or men who can go from woman to woman, because that says a lot about your soul. You're okay with spreading connections, but not commitment. So
you okay with spreading connections, but not commitment.
Yeah. Because you're only connecting for that moment. You're not trying to be there forever. You're just trying to bust that nut real quick and move on. So what you about to do, that's the end of the connection. But that's not really the end of it. Yeah. Because it's a blurred line with that.
Sometimes we build commitment off connection.
Right. And it's false. Those situationships that we start, and I fall short to it. Hey, I ain't never gonna lie to you. Right. We all fall short to the narrative that we create in our mind. Delusion. We want something more, but all they can give is what they got. You can't expect somebody to give you what they ain't never had.
So if let's say you stuck in that delusional cycle, what is the acknowledgement of like, dang, I'm chasing something that can't be attained, but what I desire is true commitment with connection?
Looking at the type of men that I would date. The same man will show up, just a different appearance, different. I mean, it might add a trait or take away a trait, but the same man shows up. The same type of man. And that's my weakness. So I feel like a lot of times when we have a weakness, the lesson is the strength in being able to say no. So
the power of a no.
The power of a no. It's real.
It's real.
It's definitely real. It's Sometimes real. You say no and go cry in the corner about it because you want that dick so bad. That's true.
Cry in the corner is insane.
Slide down the wall. Like that? Dang, fight in the air, baby. You gotta fight it. Hey, that's a different kind of demon. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people have connections with people or situations with people, and they have a delusion of thinking that it's something more, and it's nothing more.
And you were never supposed to be connected.
You were never supposed to be connected
like that.
Never. It was supposed to be real quick, nothing true. And it could have just supposed to be a hello, but you took it far. So yeah.
I heard something like that. Like, everybody you have a connection with, you aren't supposed to be connected to.
Definitely not. I believe that. Like, I feel it.
I feel that too. Like, some relationships over the course of my life probably should have been strictly platonic, know, but because boundaries were not established, you know, now it's like you potentially lost out on a true friend.
But you said a word that I think we all struggle with: boundaries. Boundaries. That's a big word that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody is scared to create a boundary. I'm one of them people that have a hard time with setting boundaries. But with therapy and just realizing that I'm that nigga low key.
Come on, therapy.
Come on, therapy. With therapy and just trying to step in my own truth and follow it, I've learned that it's okay to set a boundary. Tell a nigga, no, that's not what we doing.
Yeah.
If you can't court me and date me, get the hell on. If you can't satisfy this itch first before the other one, then hey, we gotta figure it out. You know, so I have desires, and it's okay for me to have desires, and not intimate ones, but just emotional ones as well.
Because sometimes you'll stay in situations longer than you supposed to because you like, this person scratched that itch.
Yeah, they gonna get it one day, and one day come and go.
Yeah, that's real though.
Now you got 700 days and still, you know, still fucked up, down bad. So I just feel like in certain areas people have to have boundaries. Even in sex, you have to have boundaries. Everybody gotta have a word that you're going too far. You're doing a little bit too much.
I think like, especially in relationships, you kind of feel like I think people lose their individuality in relationship.
Yeah, so you feel obligated.
Yeah, even those boundaries you think you have, you kind of feel like you're supposed to submit those boundaries.
No. You only submit to your husband or to your wife.
You dropping gems.
You know, and if you ain't married, you ain't submitting to shit, but this nut, and that's it. Like, a lot of people have post-nut clarity. Like, it's like, oh, damn, maybe I shouldn't have did that. And next thing you know, you got a crazy stalker at your door knocking on it when you was never supposed to be doing that anyway. So I just feel like in certain spaces, people just have to have boundaries and know that if this is what it is, then say it up front. And I think that's where a lot of men are scared, and a lot of women are too. Like, if you just want to have sex with that person, say that. If you want to date that person, say that. If you want to be friends with benefits, say that. Give the person the option to say, I want that too. That's
truth. But people know intuitively that it's kind of like you don't reach for the thing that you can get. Right. You reach for the thing that's unattainable.
That's already, you know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you don't reach for something that's in your field. You know, you want something that's...
You want something out of that field.
Out of that field.
And that's okay. You know? But some people reach for what they can have. And it's easy and it's accessible. So...
That's when you start reaching down.
Yeah, that's when you start reaching down, when you should always be reaching up. And I think when I was talking about those boundaries, that's where I've been at. I'm not reaching down no more. And I'm not going to be anybody's down either. So... Just being honest.
I think people don't like boundaries though because it makes you challenge your true nature.
Right.
Not the nature you perceive to everyone else.
And some men don't want to deal with that transparency or that vulnerability. I had a guy share with me that I blew his world up, like, in front of him. And it wasn't sexual. It was more so of I held him accountable for his feelings and his thoughts and his words and his actions, because that's what it's all about. And he was pissed. Like, girl, who is this girl coming up in here with all these commands? I'm going to do them though, but who is this woman? And then you lose that woman because you were so busy trying to control what was going on. You caught up in your ego and in your pride, and you just couldn't see how great that person was really trying to push you to be, or push you out of your comfort zone. And that's okay. And a lot of men cannot receive love. Some of them can't even give it. So imagine receiving love from a person that's good. It really means it, and it's unconditional. You can't handle it. You don't know what it looks like, and it's unfamiliar. So you run. You run, and that's okay. But sooner or later, that emotion is going to catch up to you, and it's going to be a coulda, woulda, shoulda, instead of I have.
And if you don't run, you self-sabotage.
You self-sabotage, and you fuck it up anyway. So
and you end up hurting someone that really
definitely hurting.
But I think that's the nature of a woman, though, to challenge a man. Definitely. To really say, like, are you the man that stands on the things that you said you stand on? Right. Like, are you going to do the things that you said you would do?
Stand on business.
Yeah, that's the nature of a woman. You know, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if more women would hold men accountable, they would have different kind of conversations. So I'm in that space of drawing back and looking at myself in the mirror and saying, okay, are you going to hold this man accountable? What are you holding him accountable for? Yeah. Can you give it to yourself first? Can you please yourself first? And not please as in, you know, your little rose, your little toys, but can you go out on a date with yourself? Can you be intimate with yourself? So, yeah.
Do you have peace within yourself?
Do you? Because is it a peace in the chaos or is it like a real peace? And I find peace in being in the house with my moo-moo on twerking.
Man, what?
Hey, you know.
I be finding peace in the house.
I find peace in my moo-moo. Me and my moo-moo, we go together real bad.
You said you was going to come to the podcast.
Hey, I would have came to this podcast if I would have known it was real laid back like this. I would have came with my moo-moo on. No bra, no nothing. Just chilling.
I'm glad you comfortable though, like for real.
I am. The environment definitely is really comfortable.
Yeah. That's what we all about, true. Not just
I vibe with you though. But I would have came here with that moo-moo on.
Yeah. You know, and
toes out.
I like that everything. You came in here like comfortable, not just within yourself, but in the space too.
Oh, definitely.
And that's one of the reasons I was really excited to have you here. You know, you had it.
I'm working on it. Sometimes I feel like my personality is so loud, and I be like, "Dang, girl, just please go somewhere and please do good. Like, just be good for once, and it just come out."
And I think that shows consistency because I touched the scene here with poetry in 2018, and it's 2025, and I've seen you be consistent, but it still grow and elevate. You know, like I've seen you develop a different level of that sense of correction. You know, I see it happen in your head. You be like, come on, not that,
that.
but you still remain your authentic, your true self. So
yeah, I got you. I knew what word you were stumbling on. It's all right, brother.
No, listen. You gonna embarrass me in front of my folks?
I'm never gonna embarrass you. Hey, I'm an ELA teacher, so the first thing I'm gonna do is be like, all right, brother.
You said we weren't gonna talk about work.
All right, you're right.
See?
You're right. But I do, some of y'all need to work on that. Express how you feel. Say it.
How you feel.
Yeah. I teach my students that. But outside of that, I teach people that too. Men, women, it don't matter who it is. I take pride in the fact that my parents can now express without feeling like they have to, yell or scream to get their point across. That's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
You got to train or help people to learn how to talk to you, And I'm not saying they dogs, but what do people do to dogs? They train them, and then they show them what works and what doesn't. So I feel like a lot of people have adapted that. I'm a help you to learn how to talk to me.
I always, my grandma always said, like, people don't treat you the way you want it. They treat you how you train them.
Right.
Because I always say this, like, if you invite me into your house and I steal from you, and you invite me to your house and I steal from you again, and you invite me to your house and I steal from you again, like, at what point do you blame me?
At what time do you? At what point you be like, nigga, stop stealing from me? What you stealing for? Like you could just ask.
Or do you blame me for being a thief, or do you blame yourself because you keep inviting me in your house?
I blame both of us because I knew better.
Yeah.
After the first time. I knew better, but because probably the connection, I allowed you to keep coming. Yeah. So, yeah.
Because that's how we treat relationship.
Yeah.
Like, this person showed you that hurt you here, showed you they've been saying you here, they mistreat you here. And it's like...
the breadcrumb effect, basically.
Come on. What's the breadcrumb effect?
You start off, I'm going to use a situationship. Okay. I'm only going to use that because I am an erotic poet. So a situationship, you set it up. Y'all both giving 100%. Y'all texting, y'all setting stuff up, y'all hanging, do whatever your situation is permitted to do. And then a person starts to drop back. And then you go towards that person. And you're like, where you at? Where you been at? What's going on? Right. And then they come back and they're giving you 75, but 75 feels good when you've been getting 100 or when you've been getting nothing.
Because you're getting something.
You're getting something. So you're okay with accepting something. And then the same thing continues to happen. And to the point where you like, yo, nigga, you at 5%. And I don't let you make 5 feel like 100. That's definitely not cool. So I think just intimately, that's how that goes as well.
And because... personally, you still holding on to that 100, but we ain't there.
You only holding on to that because that was the first interaction. That's why people always come. I feel like sometimes they come with their facades up. That's 100%. For
sure. You present
so when I start giving 50, you can't blame me because I gave you that mask. So I feel like sex is like that too.
We do.
People breadcrumb sex. Some people use sex as a weapon. Some people don't. Like if you're mad at somebody and they're horny, you be like, nah, we're not having sex because you did that to me. It's like a breadcrumb. And then when you do have sex, it's like, oh my God, it's the best. No, it's not. You just have an emotional attachment to it. It feels good because it's stupid as fuck.
Because you were deprived of something.
Right.
Really...
It's an addiction, basically. People say, I'm not going to smoke crack no more, go right back to it. So it's the same process. Yeah, That's how I feel. Well, let me say that's how I feel. I'm not gonna say everybody feel like that, but sexual breadcrumbing is a real thing. It is. I'm only gonna give like head to this person, but I'm not gonna give head to this. You know who you can and can't do it with, but if you want to be technical, don't give it to nobody. Go in there and do what you need to do and move on. Like, I feel like in certain areas in sex, it's very intimate. Kissing is intimate. You don't kiss everybody. Eating vagina or sucking dick is very intimate, but that's always an expectation for men, though. They expect a woman to do that. Not thinking that maybe she, never done it before, or maybe that's something that's a boundary for her until he presents himself in a different manner. So, I
know women that's a expectation for them. Yeah. Like, before we even get there, right. I gotta see what that mouthpiece talking about.
Right, because, I don't blame them. Is it all just poetry, Zay?
Nah,
you just up there talking.
Is it all just poetry?
Is it all just poetry? You're being for real, but I just honestly think that if people would just be upfront about their expectation, or excuse me, people say they don't have expectations. If people just would be upfront about what they want, because everybody has an expectation.
We all got expectations.
It's always that one person that fucked you real good, and you hold everybody to that, and you hope that they can reach it. You hope, but it's always gonna be somebody that's better. You just gotta,
But that's the danger of soul ties, though, because that person could have gave you that better experience, but in truth, you was never supposed to.
Matter of fact, you was never even on the list.
Yeah,
you just so happened to, fall through.
Really, and that's why, like, now you can meet someone, like you can meet a man now. He does everything. He makes you feel safe. He makes you feel confident.
He got a wife at the house.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he make you feel safe. He make you feel confident. He does all the things that you need in a man. But right. Because you done ducked off in your early years and had these crazy sexual experiences, he may not be able to give you those things, and you may hold him to that.
You need to find it out. Then you need to go to some therapy. It's some sex therapists out here. Hey, baby, we gotta fix it. We gotta find what works for us.
What you said earlier? He better pop that Bluetooth.
He better pop that Bluetooth and make it do what it do. Because we're not doing that. Oh wow, I can't do it.
But I think that's a consequence of it. The bigger your sexual the bigger your sexual palate is, the bigger your sexual appetite is.
And some men ain't got it. They are one and done. And I'm just like, what happened? Bro, you're like in your prime.
What happened as long as I got my piece, and I mean outside of my little toy? What happened to that?
Hey baby, when that desire, you said a desire. When that desire hit, it hit. And so if you can't hit, then hey.
What if that desire hit, but the compromises of value, it be lacking?
Then it won't hit. It won't hit. I'm one of them type of people that the connection has to be there, and I'm not talking about just souls. We have to be friends. We got to be on some other type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like it matters to me. Like I can sit up here and joke and laugh, and my poetry, I can make whatever story I want to make up. But really, I really be caring about stuff like that. Are you really my friend, nigga?
Are you really my friend?
Can we go hang out tomorrow or something? Like,
are you my friend?
Yeah. Oh, we locked in.
Damn, not for real.
Well, then step this way then. But if we not, then you gotta,
that's real.
So I feel like if people would just get to know people before they just, I ain't shaming nobody who has a one night stand or done anything like that, because we all have our moments, but get to know that person so you can know what your soul is connecting to.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are walking around with soul ties that we think we let, but just because we left the relationship behind,
does not mean we let it go.
Does not mean we left the attachment behind.
So I feel like my poetry be on that.
It's a year later and you still getting I was just thinking about you.
Right.
You need boundaries.
Right. I like that. I was just thinking about you. I like a random, video.
You were just talking all that shit about boundaries.
I do like random. I do. I mean, but I told you it was a weakness though. I admitted that. So, everybody like a little cum shot though.
Speaking about getting to know a person, I want to know about your journey with poetry. Like,
okay,
where did it originally start from? This erotic journey, not just that, but just like your poetry journey in general. Like, what was the root of it?
Okay, so when I was a kid, my mom always asked me what I wanted to be, and I told her an author. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, I want to be an author. I want to be an author. And she's like, well, what you gonna write about? I was like, I don't know. I just want to be one. So as a kid, you don't think about that stuff like that. And so when I finally did what I was doing and I finally dropped my first book, the first person I called was my mom, and I was like, yo, I'm an author. Like what I said or what I spoke and I manifested then, it came to fruition now. So even though I'm not a bestseller yet, that doesn't mean that my author journey is over. So I think as a kid, I said I wanted to write. I love writing.
You got a couple books.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I have 3. So you know, I'd be cool in
Big 3. Say it with your chest.
You know, big dog.
No, that's good.
But yeah, I think I didn't know what kind of author I wanted to be, and a lot of people don't know, but my book is not just an erotic journey. It's actually the journey of me going through so many different phases of being a woman. Like, it is hard to be a woman sometimes. Yeah. And instead of bitching about it, I wrote about it.
How do you navigate being a woman and also not being labeled to like that sexual nature?
You're gonna be labeled no matter what you do. I don't care if you could be a Christian writer and still be labeled. It doesn't matter. I think a lot of people, if we put pressure on ourselves when we create those labels. So, because if I go into a room and I speak about love, everybody expected me to speak about love, sex, or whatever. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I try not to limit myself to just saying I'm an erotic poet. I think I lead with that because that's what I compete with. I'm able to get in there and do something that other people are not. So that's my lane. Yeah. But can I speak about other stuff? Absolutely. I love speaking about love now. I hated it at first, but I think once I started showing it to myself in different forms, I was able to write about it.
Yeah. You said you been writing about heartbreak now.
Heartbreak and stuff like that.
But I want to hear that.
It's not really the sad heartbreak. It's just more so of the expectation heartbreak. I broke my own heart trying to live up to stuff that I wasn't able to live up to, or I still haven't been able to live up to. And when you look at relationships, you start looking at your life, you're like, dang, I don't have, but I have so much more than other people do. Yeah. And I'm thankful for that.
That's what's up.
The heartbreak is more so of those what they call it? The pains. I think they call it. I don't know what they call it.
Growing pains?
The growing pains. There we go. So it's more so of that.
Come on, ELA teacher.
Yeah. I had to think about it for a second. Hey, I'm off work now.
I had to get you back. So
just growing. Oh, you did. You got me back. Okay, we even now. But just the growing pains of healing. So I'm like, yeah, heartbreak is heartbreak, but I love it though.
That's real.
I love it.
You know me. I'm a writer about some heartbreak.
Yeah, I know. You need to let that shit go.
They be good though.
I do. I be fucking with them though. I love that about you though. You do what you do and you stick in your own lane, and I vibe with that so much. And I used to be jealous a little bit, like, dang, when I want to do a love piece, shit don't go the way it's supposed to go. But when this nigga do a love piece, 12 people in the room like falling in love and shit. So I don't know. I think more so of just accepting what it is, and not for what I want it to be, and just being honest.
And remember, comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah, definitely. So
even coming to your spaces and events, it pushed me in my erotic bag. And I remember like the last event, I shared some erotic pieces. You was like, okay, Zay.
Okay, Zay. And I'm always support you though. I'm always support my friends though. I love that about them, that y'all have that ability to kind of switch. Yeah. I adapt to any room that I'm in, but I know that my element is being able to be sensual, and it's not erotic, but it's being able to be sensual with myself and be vulnerable in a space like that with other people. Yeah. Other women can't even be sensual with themselves, can't even look in the mirror and be sensual, touch themselves or anything like that. So
what is sensuality outside of sexual experiences to you though? Like when you say that, I thought about sensuality is like being able to stand naked in front of the mirror.
Absolutely.
And just embrace yourself.
And embrace all of it, like roles and all. Because I done gained a couple. I lost them, but I gained them. So I think it goes back to that confidence piece. Like, so what, you gained a little weight? So what? So it's like a constant battle in your mind. Like, oh, do I look good? Is he gonna like me, or is this what I'm supposed to be saying? It's always a doubtful narrative. So I like getting in those spaces and being sensual and intimate with myself and being like, nah, bitch, that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be saying. Told you about that moo-moo. That auntie lifestyle definitely helps. But my sister be putting me on to the moo-moo. So yeah, she definitely put me on to that. So shout out to my sister. But I really I valued that about her. She always was genuine with herself, no matter how hard it was. She was always genuine. And I'm like, what kind of life am I living if my little sister being more genuine than I am? So that made me question a lot about me.
How do you combat the narratives of sexuality within your poetry and not for people outside looking in, connecting those to your own personal life?
I think when you walk into a room and you see 12 men and like 30 girls, the girls ain't gonna really say too much. They gonna either or they gonna.
I've seen some girls run up on you now,
and they have. But I politely let them know I am so honored and so privileged to be able to catch your eye or even catch your attention. But that's not the way I swing. Even down to men, it's okay to tell a nigga no. Like,
I done seen you do it.
Right. I ain't fucking. I mean, I'm cooling, but I ain't fucking, man. Like, I probably ain't fucking in like a year, and you coming up to me talking about, that poem ain't did shit to you. It ain't did shit to you, but create a lie. Delusion.
A delusion.
He is delusional. A false sense of reality because you're not taking me home, brother. You can lick me up all you want. I'm going to drink it. I'm going to go home.
I done seen it. They look at their lips in the audience. They done sat back in their chair.
Right, doing this little move.
You just like, okay.
Okay, brother. Still going to leave by myself. Love you, but even outside of being on the stage, I'm a very humble person.
You are.
Very humble person. And I'm very, I have an introvert part of myself that people only see when they really like see me kind of ducked off. Now I'm an extrovert when I need to be. Like I'm an extrovert right now, but when I get in the car, be right back to being an introvert. So I think that's what I respect the most about me getting up there and me having those spaces. Because then I could be whoever I want to be in that moment and get off the stage and act like I ain't even say none of that stuff up there. And they are confused.
Because
confusion.
They had a different sense of truth, than the one you choose to perceive.
Right. A guy actually told me that the reason why I am able or men feel the way that they feel is because I leave room for them to feel like I'm talking to them. So when I'm having it feel personal, like, oh, she talking to me. And he was like, I've watched you. It's the way you look at people, the way you're connecting with people, the way you are able to tell the story. It's like, okay, I can see myself settling down. It makes you think like this bitch talking to me like she want me. And I'm like, brother, I'm just here to say a poem. That's it. I'm just here to say a poem. That's it. I ain't trying to fall in love tonight.
You done seen it in real time.
Yeah, I have.
Been on stage and it'd be like, oh yeah, he talking to.
I done Heisman trophies a couple of people.
No,
back.
I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, back.
You was looking right at me.
You was looking, hey baby, I was never looking at you. I was looking through you though.
I'm doing what a performer's supposed to do.
Definitely perform. Okay, right. Put on a show. Right. That is what I'm supposed to do. If you fell in love, that's between you.
It's 80 people in this room. You know what I'm saying?
You are not the only one. All 80 done fell in love, baby. What we doing?
Right.
Hey, take your stance in line. But it's just more so of just respecting myself as a woman.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them know not to step at me weird or incorrect. They know to come to me correct.
Yeah.
But I just value going into a space, shifting it, and then letting it go back to what it is. But once I shift it, it never goes back.
Yeah, that's real. Even like I can't speak for you, but for me personally, like even the attention that you do get when you in that phase, you don't be wanting that attention.
I definitely
like don't. not in my personal life. Like my personal life,
definitely
you don't understand. I'm on the stage because I'm getting paid, because it's something I want to do. But as soon as this event is over, I'm gonna go into the crib.
Baby.
I'm not going to no after party. I'm not. Nah, y'all. I'm gonna catch.
You might catch me in the after party. Buy me a shot of Hennessy or something. If you really want my attention.
If you really want my attention,
hey baby, you gotta pay to play.
A shot of Hennessy
for a conversation, But I just honestly feel like in those spaces, you just have to be comfortable with somebody looking at you and oogling you, because that's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
That's what's gonna happen. It don't matter what you're saying.
They idolize them. They put you on a pedestal,
right?
But it's like I'm just a person.
Right. When I leave here, matter of fact, when I get off the stage, if you came up to me and talked to me, I'd probably giggle.
Yeah. Like, and then you're gonna be like, dang, he real. I have to give an intro on stage. Like, yo, if I get off and you say something, don't be thinking, oh, he weird. Like, I know I am. I just this is the persona.
You watch anime?
Yeah, a little bit. Why?
You look like it. You know what they say about men that watch anime?
What?
They fuck real good.
I'm about to kick you off my podcast. I knew she was gonna wait till the end to cut up.
Hey, I don't know if it's a myth, but I ain't heard it. Yeah, I have not heard a bad review yet.
I mean, you the one with the
That's besides the point.
Okay.
That's besides the point.
You know what?
That's besides the point. But I'm just saying they do say that about the men that watch anime and cartoons and shit.
It's a lot of women that watch anime. What that mean?
I don't know. I've never experienced that. I know from the male perspective.
Yeah, I
don't know what them girls doing.
You cut up.
I heard the girls that wear glasses, definitely. I heard they.
Girls that wear glasses.
That WAP, hey. And I take my hat out to all the women out there that wear glasses. We run the world.
Speaking of women that wear glasses, you are a woman that wears glasses.
I do.
Right?
I do.
And we get into this last segment of the podcast, which I really appreciate. Just how authentic you been, how transparent.
Awesome.
You been your true self.
I am. I'm always going to be it.
I expected you to cut up. Like you cut up. But
See, I held some back for you. I held it back for Zay.
You was on your best.
If anybody knows me, I say what I want, how I want, whenever I want. But I held it back. I held it back for you.
And you had, like I said earlier, even when you came in, you had everybody dying.
I'm a comedian, low key.
For real,
people don't be knowing that about me.
For real though,
but I love to laugh, and I love a man that can make me laugh. So if you can make me laugh.
Oh, man. We appreciate all of our subscribers, man. Make sure y'all like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok,
and
Instagram.
definitely follow him. Hey, don't be no punk.
Follow Blaque Rain, know.
And it's BLAQUEREIGNDAPOET_.
You better... Come on. You better plug yourself. I'm talking. What?
But on Instagram, it's BR the Poet.
Mm-hmm.
BR, just BRDAPOET_.
Thank you, Blaque Rain. Before we get up out of here, the last part is the performance you about to give. So let the viewers know a little bit about your performance. And
well, A Night with Jill. Nobody knows this, but this is a true story. So when I do it, I'm able to go back to that moment of being at a Jill Scott concert with a crush. And, shit just went. It went real well. So shout out to Jill Scott. She's like my favorite. She's my favorite. Yeah, she's like my girl crush. My love. That's just what it is. To be honest, she is like so just eclectic as a person. So A Night with Jill is just a collection of all of her songs or the titles of her songs. And I just made it my own,
That's beautiful. Thank you.
It's a true story for all those that wanted to know. Yes. We fucked after Just Got concert.
Oh, man, here we go. Thank you, Blaque Rain. Thank you to our viewers.
You are so welcome. I'm so honored and so privileged. Thank you, Zay, for having me. This is my first podcast, so
that's what's up.
Yeah,
you did great.
You popped my little cherry. I like that for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blaque Rain the Poet, A Night with Jill.
I was just thinking about you, wondering, do you wear that same cologne? It smells good on you. Or I was just thinking if you still had that itch to come see me so we can experience the real thing. Baby, we can do whatever you want to do because I'm not afraid to expose all my naked lies and two truths. While your love rains down on me, the fact is I needed you to slowly, surely show me your true colors while memories of all we do run across my manifesto. You proved to me that you love me in Lazelle E flat as I threw this ass back and you caught it to the beat and gave my ass a smack. Had me feeling like, damn, a nigga got it like that. My mind playing tricks on me as I press rewind, only to press fast forward as images come back in sight. You had me playing back questions like, can I sit on your face while you kiss this? And this, and this, and this, and that? Or can we show each other where the climax is at? Can we live our life like it's golden? Can I suck your tip till it's swollen? Or we leak out all our potion because our bodies are rolling? Or can I be your crown royal on ice as the mood sets and you grab that latex because we all know that safe sex is the best sex? Must I remind you, I'm the only option. I don't play next while all I dream about is that easy conversation between your dick and my pussy as our anticipation. So please, tell me that this ain't fool's gold as my honey molasses comes down and I'm screaming out, Jare mi ko fasala, until the light of sun touches my skin. And in your case, one wasn't the magic number. Because as your dick dug deeper, my pussy became tighter, your cum tasted sweeter. I took you higher and I'm flyer, but then you noticed. And the way you've been lurking, I guess some Kegel exercises really have been working. And I trust that you'll make it all worth it. So here I was, caught up, thinking about you, wondering what you were doing or maybe what you've been up to. I guess the reality is your dick wasn't meant for me. I just remembered all the shit we used to do.